Long ago, beyond the great forests of Africa, there stood a powerful kingdom known as Nwando. Its enormous palace stood above the surrounding villages, while busy markets filled the streets below. Farmers worked the land, blacksmiths forged weapons, and royal warriors guarded the kingdom day and night. Nwando was ruled by King Eze, a respected ruler who had kept peace for many years. But the elders knew a secret. Deep beneath the kingdom was a forgotten history that had never been spoken about in the presence of the king. And one night, that history returned. Late one night, while the palace slept, a royal guard discovered a strange wooden tablet lying outside the throne room. Three words had been carved into it. The shadow returns. The king was immediately summoned. Before sunrise, another tablet appeared. This one carried a frightening message. Before the third sunset, the king will bleed. Fear spread through the palace. King Eze summoned his most trusted young warrior, Obasi. Find whoever is sending these messages. Obasi bowed before the king. I will discover the truth. And before dawn, he began his journey. The clues eventually led Obasi beyond the borders of Nwando and toward the forbidden forest. It was a place no ordinary person dared to enter. The trees were enormous. The forest was strangely quiet, and ancient symbols covered the trunks. Obasi followed the markings deeper into the forest. Then he discovered something hidden beneath the roots of an enormous tree, a stone staircase. He descended carefully. At the bottom stood a gigantic stone door, covered in the same symbol from the mysterious tablets. Obasi placed his hand against the door. It slowly opened. Beyond it was a sight he could never have imagined. Hidden beneath the forest was an entire kingdom. Massive stone towers rose from the darkness. Torches burned along enormous walls. Hundreds of people lived beneath the earth, and warriors stood everywhere, watching Obasi. Before he could escape, he was surrounded and taken before their ruler. A mysterious man sat upon a dark stone throne. He looked at Obasi and spoke calmly. You serve the king who stole my throne. Obasi stared at him. What throne? The ruler revealed an ancient secret. His ancestors had once ruled the land above. According to him, the royal family of Nwando had betrayed his ancestors and taken their kingdom generations ago. Since childhood, he had prepared to reclaim the throne. He called his kingdom the Shadow Kingdom, and now he was ready to return. Obasi managed to escape the underground kingdom and raced back toward Nwando, but what he discovered shocked him even more. One of King Eze's most trusted royal advisors had secretly been working with the Shadow King. The mysterious tablets had been placed by the advisor. He had been secretly providing information about the palace. Obasi rushed toward the king, but the palace drums suddenly began to thunder. The kingdom's warriors rushed toward the walls. Beyond the gates stood an enormous army. The Shadow Kingdom had arrived. The gates opened. The Shadow Kingdom warriors marched into Nwando. The peaceful streets became filled with chaos. Royal warriors rushed from the palace. Drums thundered across the kingdom. Obasi fought alongside the defenders, while King Eze stood at the palace courtyard. Eventually, the Shadow King confronted him. He raised his weapon and declared, Tonight, Nwando returns to its rightful ruler. King Eze refused to surrender. The two sides prepared for the final confrontation. But then, Obasi noticed something beneath the royal throne, an ancient symbol. He remembered seeing the exact symbol inside the underground kingdom. He suddenly understood. The Shadow King's story was incomplete. Obasi revealed the ancient evidence before both armies. The Shadow King's ancestors had indeed ruled the region long ago, but they had not been betrayed. They had attempted to destroy Nwando and were defeated. The Shadow King had spent his entire life believing a lie. He looked at the ancient markings in disbelief, his weapon slowly lowered. For the first time, the two armies became silent. King Eze stepped forward. Instead of ordering the Shadow King killed, he offered him peace. The Shadow King finally accepted. The warriors lowered their weapons. For generations, two kingdoms had been divided by hatred, created from a forgotten lie. As the sun rose above Nwando, the people watched their enemies stand together. Obasi looked toward the ancient palace, and he understood a truth that would remain with him forever. Sometimes the greatest enemy is not the person standing before you, but the lie you were taught to believe.